The late show studio pulsed with energy, the lights warm and the audience electric with anticipation. Stephen Colbert strode to his desk, that signature twinkle in his eye, and a smile that could disarm a cynic. The crowd erupted, their applause shaking the rafters. A promise of wit, fire, and a night to remember. Across from him sat Elon Musk. The billionaire reclined casually, a tousled look barely disguising the tension in his jaw. His eyes gleamed with arrogance, hands folded smugly, as if the stage, and maybe the world, belonged to him. The audience was split, half loyal to Colbert's razor-sharp intellect, half lured by Musk's mythos. "Tonight's guest," Colbert began with a grin, "is a man who's richer than some nations, and just as interested in leaving Earth behind. Please welcome Elon Musk." Laughter followed, good-natured but biting. Musk offered a crooked smile, leaning back like a king in court. "I'm saving humanity, Stephen, one rocket at a time. You're welcome." The joke landed flat. Some chuckled, others murmured. A tension crept in. Colbert raised an eyebrow. "Saving us? Still shining that billionaire glow like we're lucky to watch you lift off?" More laughter now, pointed, knowing. The sparring had begun. "So, this Mars thing," Colbert pressed. "Is it a real plan? Or just an exclusive clubhouse for billionaires when the rest of us are stuck cleaning up the mess here?" Musk's smile thinned. "It's serious. Earth is chaos. Mars is the future." The audience shifted, their warmth cooling. The words stung. Detached. Privileged. Colbert leaned forward. "And who's paying for that future? While you ride your rocket to a red paradise, who foots the bill for the people left behind?" The crowd murmured. The question hit hard. Musk's face hardened. "Oh, please." Musk sneered. "You're whining about bills now. Stick to comedy. Leave vision to people who actually build things." Gasps. A few boos. The room shifted again quickly. The arrogance had gone from playful to cutting. Colbert's smile faded. "Comedy? Sure, but I'm not the one fleeing to another planet instead of facing the problems right here." Applause. Strong, honest. His audience stood with him. Musk's jaw twitched. "You sit here pretending to care about people while mocking those trying to fix the future." "And you pretend rockets fix inequality," Colbert shot back, eyes locked in. "But all they do is prove who gets to leave and who has to stay behind." Now the room was alive. No laughter. Just energy. Real. Political. Furious. Musk leaned in, voice like ice. "You think you're a moral compass? You're a late-night clown afraid of real solutions." The boos now were undeniable. Loud. Furious. Colbert didn't flinch. "You call yourself a problem solver," he said. "But when questioned, you sneer. When challenged, you belittle. And when it gets uncomfortable, you float off to Mars." A beat of silence, then the roar. The crowd was with him. Producers behind the scenes were frantic, gesturing, whispering into headsets. The interview had gone off the rails. And it was only escalating. Musk stood abruptly. "I don't have to sit here and be lectured by someone who's never built a damn thing." Colbert remained seated, still, focused. "No, you don't. And you won't. Because this conversation's over." The studio went silent. Colbert's voice cut through it. "Thank you for coming, Elon. But next time, leave the ego in orbit." Security appeared at the edges of the set. Musk hesitated, then turned and walked off, jaw tight, ignoring the chorus of applause now erupting behind him. Colbert turned to the camera, smoothing his jacket. "We'll be right back," he said calmly. "After this brief reality check." The segment went viral within hours. Musk's arrogance, Colbert's spine, the confrontation that exploded on live TV had just rewritten late-night history and exposed a raw nerve in the conversation about wealth, responsibility, and the future of us all. "Sure," Colbert said coolly, "but at least I'm not pretending my bank account makes me humanity's savior. Who exactly are you solving problems for? Elon? Yourself?" The line hit like a lightning strike, sharp, unflinching, and dead on. The audience erupted. Some stood. The studio rumbled with applause, a roar of solidarity behind the host, who dared to confront the king of rockets and riches. Musk had walked into a lion's den, and now the lion was awake. Musk's hands sliced through the air, his calm shattered. "You don't get it, Stephen. I'm building the future. You're clinging to the past, whining about fairness like it's some kind of virtue. It's pathetic." The words stung, not just for Colbert, but for everyone watching. The audience turned fast. Boos rained down, fierce and full-throated. Some shouted, others jeered. The mood cracked into fury. Their support for Colbert was no longer polite applause. It was defiant, explosive, united. Colbert didn't blink. "The future, huh?" he said, voice steady as steel. "Sounds more like an escape plan for the privileged. I'm not whining, Elon. I'm watching out for the people you left behind. Remember them?" He gestured to the crowd. They roared again, louder now. Not just entertained, but fired up. Musk had underestimated the room, and Colbert had just reminded them who still stood in it. Musk's composure snapped. He shot to his feet, his chair screeching back in protest. "I don't need this," he shouted. "You're a clown, Stephen. I'm done with your sanctimonious garbage." He yanked off his mic, the cord whipping through the air, and glared, red-faced, as his billionaire armor cracked wide open. "Keep your little show!" he spat. "I've got better things to do." And with that, he stormed off. His footsteps thundered down the stage like a tantrum in motion. The crowd erupted, some booing, some cheering, their energy a tidal wave. Colbert sat back, calm and unshaken. "Elon," he said coolly, "take care. Mars won't miss you." The audience lost it. Applause, whistles, standing ovation. The kind of eruption you don't fake. A room electrified by a moment of truth. Musk was gone, but the shock lingered like smoke. Colbert stayed seated, hands steady on his desk, face set with quiet resolve. The mic Musk had ripped off now dangled like a relic, proof of a clash that had turned into something bigger, a host who had drawn the line, and a billionaire who couldn't handle it. Behind the scenes, chaos bloomed. Crew members darted in the wings, headsets alive with frantic chatter, phones lit up. Musk had shoved past a producer, barked something bitter under his breath, and vanished out the studio doors. A man undone by his own bravado. Whispers flew. Musk had been tense even before the show, pacing, edgy, clearly wary of Colbert's reputation for slicing through spin. But no one expected this. A meltdown in real time. Clips were already flooding social media. "I'm done with your sanctimonious garbage." The quote looped endlessly, turned into memes, TikToks, stitched with Colbert's cool retort and the crowd's thunderous ovation. The digital tide surged. Some mocked Musk's outburst. Others hailed Colbert for standing tall. But in that moment, one thing was clear. Colbert didn't just win the interview. He reclaimed the night. And the audience? They weren't just clapping. They were standing with him. The crowd was his strength now, a rising force behind him. In that moment, Colbert stood not just as a host, but as the people's voice. A test had come, and he passed it with grace. He leaned into the mic, voice smooth and steady. "Well, folks," he said with a glint in his eye. "Looks like Elon's off to colonize the green room. Guess he didn't like the view from Earth." Laughter exploded through the room, warm, cathartic, unified. Applause swelled. Some clapped, others whooped, grateful for the lifeline he tossed after the storm. In one breath, Colbert turned a breakdown into a bond. His hands rested calmly on the desk, the tension in the room melting away. Unity sparked. He didn't dwell on Musk's meltdown. He didn't mock him or pour fuel on the fire. Instead, he wove it into the rhythm of the night. "I thought we'd talk rockets," he quipped with a smirk. "Not launch one off stage. My mistake." He mimicked Musk's mic toss with a playful grin. The crowd erupted again, louder this time, the applause turning tidal. It was no longer just recovery. It was triumph. Musk's fury faded beneath Colbert's cool. The shift felt real, earned. A stand made not just by one man, but by everyone in that room. "All right," Colbert said, straightening. "Let's move on. We've got a show to do. You folks ready for some fun?" The response was deafening. Cheers shook the walls. Some stood, some shouted. All of them felt it. This wasn't about Musk anymore. This was about them. About reclaiming the night. The tension that had once gripped the studio was gone. What remained was momentum. Colbert pivoted with ease, his voice rising, his smile unwavering. What could have been chaos was now clarity, the show surging forward on a wave of joy born from truth. The audience leaned in, some nodded, others beamed. A night that had teetered on collapse now stood strong. Colbert's command lit the set. Musk's exit had become a memory. Just another flare in the rear view of a night taken back. Segment by segment, Colbert walked the audience forward, step by assured step, transforming the confrontation into something greater. Not petty, revenge, but resonance. Not bitterness, but rhythm. As the break neared, the studio pulsed with life. The lights cast a glow across Colbert's desk. The audience's energy returned, stronger, focused. Their earlier shock had dissolved. Their cheers now rolled like thunder, a tribute to a host who didn't flinch when faced with arrogance, but rose with humor and heart. Colbert stood tall, posture easy, smile wide. His eyes gleamed, not with smugness, but with quiet strength. A man who had turned a billionaire's tantrum into a win for the everyman. They weren't just clapping for a joke. They were cheering for a principle. And Colbert, he didn't gloat. He didn't dwell. He didn't swing for easy points. He let the moment breathe, then said with a chuckle, "Well, folks, we hit a little turbulence tonight. Elon took off faster than his rockets. But we're still here, right?" Laughter burst from the crowd, some hooting, others applauding with pure relief. He had bridged the night's rift not with bitterness, but with grace. And they followed him for it. Every gesture, every word wove them tighter. Musk's scorn faded in the light of Colbert's composure. The heartbeat of the room thrummed steady. A storm had come, and they'd weathered it together. Outside the studio, the moment detonated. Online clips surged across platforms. "I'm done with your sanctimonious garbage," collided with Colbert's composed comebacks, memes, stitches, breakdowns. The internet exploded. Some mocked Musk's meltdown. Others celebrated Colbert's resolve. But one thing was clear. The host who held the line now owned the night. Musk's camp stayed silent. No spin, no response. Just a vacuum where swagger once stood. Meanwhile, Colbert's team watched the views climb. Their host had done more than survive a PR disaster. He'd turned it into a masterclass in presence. Then the music guest took the stage. The band's vibrant notes washed over the room. Bodies swayed, Spirits lifted, the edge softened, the glow returned. A night that had once veered toward disaster now landed with elegance. Not because Colbert struck back, but because he stood tall. The clock neared midnight. Colbert stood alone in the spotlight, a quiet beacon in the center of the storm's aftermath, his voice rich with gratitude. "You folks are the heart of this," he said. "Thanks for sticking with me. Hit that like button if you felt it, and subscribe for more real nights." The crowd rose to their feet. A standing ovation erupted, rattling the rafters, echoing with pride. They weren't just watching a host. They were honoring a man who'd faced power and chose principle. The cameras panned wide, capturing faces lit with respect. The episode closed not on the wreckage of Musk's exit, but on the fire of something reclaimed. Truth over bluster, heart over hubris. A night that didn't just recover, it soared. Smash that like, subscribe, and remember, we're not done yet.